Hi, Reg.
Theodore, good morning.
Here's our question. Give me the team that should be nervous here of the favorites in the first round.
Wow. I think you can make a case for all of them, probably except the game I'm doing tonight in Minnesota-Houston. I think James Harden and Chris Paul, you'll probably see their best game tonight. Not to say that they're going to win it, but what we saw in games 1 and 2, it was almost like a runaway. And I give all the credit to Thibodeau and Minnesota in Game 3. But if I had to make a case for the higher seeds, I really believe that Indiana-Cleveland series is going 7.
Okay.
And I do believe right now Ricky Rubio and the rookie Donovan Mitchell, they've outplayed Russell Westbrook and Paul George. And man, you can make a case for all of them.
Except for
Toronto,
Golden State. Yeah, Golden State is...
Golden State, they're going to wrap that up in 5.
Yeah. Toronto against Washington.
And how about this? We've got teams in these series that really don't like one another. We've seen the barking at one another, the flagrant fouls, the technicals, the unsportsmanlike contact, the hostile acts. I think Washington now has gotten their footing, but can their game travel? I don't think they can win a game north of the border in Toronto.
Yeah.
But now you've extended the series, though, and anything is possible. Injuries come into play now. A little tweaked ankle here. We saw that 2 ankle injuries, even though Durant came back and played well last night and had 34 points. You got to take those factors into account.
What about the Lance Stevenson? This is kind of a throwback to the 90s where you have that guy who just is, he's the pebble in your shoe.
He's been very antagonistic. And last week I mentioned that, the Pacers could not care less playing against LeBron James. They weren't going to be in awe. And there's history there, obviously, between these two franchises when LeBron was with the Miami Heat. So Lance has been down this road before. And, look, Cleveland can easily be up 3-1. I mean, I think they blew Game 3 when they were up 17, and Indiana walked them down and found a way to win that ball game. And in my opinion, Indiana should have won last night.
Yeah.
I think they had the writings on the wall, but the reason why I think this game is going 7, LeBron James is playing a lot of minutes for a guy that's been in the league 15 years. I mean, these are back-to-back games where he's played the whole second half. And unless someone steps up and can play consistently for the Cavs, because it's been different players at different times, they're just going to wear LeBron James down. That's why I believe this series is going 7. I think both teams, Cleveland will go home and they will win Game 5. And when it comes back to Indiana, they'll win at home. And then it's a free-for-all for Game 7 back in Cleveland.
Why is it that Cleveland has no consistency?
Well, you got guys that haven't really been in the playoffs or had success in the playoffs that you're counting on. Clarkson, Nance, Hood. They've played well in spots. But these are guys that you have to count, especially young legs. You have to account for these young players, and this is their first time in the fire. Corver has made big shots for them. Kevin Love he's been good, but he hasn't been great. And these are guys, J.R. Smith, I mean, you don't know what you're going to get. You don't.
Although I give him credit that I would just say, look, your job is to be a pest to Victor Oladipo. That's it. Don't try to do anything other than that. Occasionally hit a 3 if you can, but just play defense. Because if you can you can't stop him, you hope to contain him. And if you do that, then you can move on in the series. But if not.
They have. Oladipo has not played great. He did not play great in games 3 and 4 at home.
No.
He made shots. He was okay, but he wasn't great.
We're talking to Reggie Miller. Reggie's got tonight's Game 4 between the Rockets and the Timberwolves. If Cleveland doesn't advance, what is that going?
It does or does not?
It does not. Cleveland doesn't. So what's that mean long term, do you think? We know the immediacy of that you're not going to have Cleveland for the NBA Finals, but what do you think it means the next 1, 2, 3, 4 years for the NBA?
Well, I think it's going to be serious questions if LeBron James is going to stay.
Yes. But are you more likely to stay or less likely to stay, Reg? I mean, you're looking at that roster. I would, and I'd go, wait, can anybody step up here tonight? Not that he didn't help build this roster, but I think he's looking around going, man, this is a mess.
Well, it depends on how they go out as well. I think if they would have gone down 3-1 and lost in 5, certainly LeBron James was gone. If this goes 7 games and they lose in 7 games, I think you'll take a harder look at it. But it still is going to be hard to fathom LeBron James going out in the first round, something he's never done in his career.
Well, script that. Let's say that he doesn't get to the finals. Like, what's best for the league if LeBron doesn't make it to the final?
You're looking probably at Philadelphia, maybe?
What if Philadelphia says, hey, LeBron, hey, we don't need you. We're good. We got a point forward here.
I think you got storylines with Philly. Obviously, with Embiid, he's great in front of the mic. He's got game to back it up. Ben Simmons, I mean, a rookie out here, a redshirt rookie out here, getting triple doubles. So you've got storylines behind Philadelphia. But I mean, them going into Miami and winning 2 road games, you're seeing a young team grow up in front of our eyes.
Yeah, they're fun.
Right? I mean, that's a hostile environment. And you talk about 2 teams not liking one another. I mean, come on.
Why is
the very definition.
Why don't we get that comparison with Ben Simmons with Magic Johnson? I know it sounds blasphemous, but we're always trying to find the next Michael. I think we have the next Magic, or at least as close as possible. I don't see him as LeBron. I see him more as Magic. But we don't go there. Why is that? Because Magic wasn't a great shooter. He became a better knockdown shooter, but
he did. But his rookie year, though, he could score a little bit better than what Simmons does. Simmons can score. First of all, we don't know what hand Ben Simmons is. Is he left-handed or right-handed? We knew Magic Johnson was right-handed. And maybe that's credit to Ben Simmons. Maybe he's fooling us all.
Well, you forget just how great Magic was that rookie season. But, you know, Ben Simmons has lived up to the hype, and that's hard to do given the hype that we heap on these kids.
And it kind of, you know, harkens back to Magic Johnson's rookie year when Kareem went down in the finals versus Philadelphia and who had to run point center on their way to the title. That's kind of what Simmons has done. I know that Embiid has played the last couple games, but if you look over the last month while Embiid was out, it was all Ben Simmons.
Yeah. Embiid's fun, man.
He is.
He's character.
He's a character.
He really is.
He has game to back it up, which I love. And how about this? Pleading to play a game and to start your playoff series on the road. It wasn't like he was pleading to come back in front of the home faithful. No, put me in a hostile environment and let me go after them. That's what I love about him. He does he does not care where he's at.
What do you think of the Jazz uniforms?
I like them. I know a lot of people are throwbacks and they like the traditionals. I like the color spots. I do.
It kind of looks like it'd be a Phoenix Suns jersey more than Utah. I mean, I guess they're taking advantage of like the national monument or the national parks there and the sort of Red Rocks and all that stuff, I guess.
Now, do we consider that an upset if Utah wins this series? Because 4 or 5 can right. That's what I'm saying. 4 or 5 can go either way, right?
Yeah.
Just like Cleveland, Indiana. It's not a huge upset.
Well, okay. What happens to Oklahoma City if they bow out first round?
Oh man, we get huge decisions if LeBron James loses in the first round with Cleveland and Paul George for OKC.
Yeah.
I just can't see. I think both will end up staying with their respective organizations, but huge decisions to be made down the road.
Yeah. I don't know. If LeBron bounces out early, there's no way he's going to look at that roster and go, yep, this is where I want to be the next 4 years. Just no way, Reg.
Well, we talked about certain scenarios where LeBron can end up. I could see him in Houston. That would be scary, but I mean, there's only one ball to go along with Chris Paul and James Harden. I just don't see him with the Lakers unless there's been conversations behind closed doors with other players.
Yeah.
that, hey, no matter what, we're going to the Lakers in terms of Paul George.
Yeah.
But I just don't see him with the Lakers. I don't. In a crowded Western Conference. Don't forget you still have Houston and you'll have Golden State. I just don't see LeBron being out there. It's an easier path unless he sees Philadelphia as the up-and-coming team, which I think a lot of people do, as well as Boston. Remember, Boston's playing, everyone thought the sky was falling in Milwaukee the way they got blown out in games 1 and 2. Now, I think the advantage you would have to say is Milwaukee in that series now, right?
I have no idea. Like, Milwaukee is an enigma to me. It
is hard. You're right, but that's what the beauty of the playoffs is all about.
Yeah. But how?
I mean, everyone thought Minnesota was dead in the water. And in Game 3, great crowd, great atmosphere, better energy. Derrick Rose looked like the MVP from Chicago. Derrick Rose off the bench. Jeff Teague. I mean, there was a Karl Anthony Towns sighting. Better energy. So can they put back-to-back games together tonight and win here, even it up, and go back to Houston? Can their game travel if they can even up this series 2-2? Put pressure back on Houston.
You said travel. Are you going to call out James Harden at all tonight if he travels, Reg?
If he travels, I may say something.
When he travels. When he travels.
If he travels.
When
tonight,
he travels.
I may say something if they don't call it.
But can you remember anybody who traveled like that much? The consistency that James Harden has?
Well, I could look myself in the mirror, but they never called it. They can't call every travel.
Wait, you travel? You were a guy who traveled? I thought you were just.
No, I had great footwork.
Of course you did.
I went to UCLA. Fundamentals, baby. John Wooden. Pyramid of success.
Reggie just admitted to traveling. He's the first NBA player in history. Occasionally traveled. You flopped. I know that. You want to admit that? Come on, Reg. Let it all out. You want to just expunge your sins here? So you traveled. You flopped. And anything else?
Do we have enough time?
What else do you want to admit to, Reg? Come on. I'm your Dr. Phil here.
Okay, MJ, that kind of was a push-off a little bit, right? But they never called it.
Okay, so Michael pushed off on Russell. Yes, it should have been called.
And I pushed off on MJ.
Oh.
On that shot.
Oh. Okay, so wait a minute. You're not saying Jordan pushed off on Brian Russell.
He absolutely pushed off on Russell.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's in Utah, and they never called that, Reg.
Correct. So that's Michael Jordan.
Well, why?
And official swallow their whistle.
Because it's
games.
Not
because it's Michael, but they tend to let the teams figure it out.
Wait a minute. If that was Steve Kerr who did that, they wouldn't have let Steve Kerr get away with it.
I would pay money to see Steve Kerr one-on-one and push off like that.
I don't think
he hurt himself trying to think about doing that.
I don't think Steve Kerr ever took more than 2 consecutive dribbles, did he? It'd be like he just would stand there, catch, shoot. So, yeah, you're right. That never would have happened. All right, are you calling for you can't predict tonight, right?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm calling for a great game and a great atmosphere. I mean, it's been 15 years since this franchise has been in the playoffs, and if Game 3 was any indication, it is going to be loud and raunchy, and I cannot wait.
Raunchy.
I love to see young teams. Yes, very raunchy.
Raunchy. All right. Well,
yes.
I hope Karl Anthony Towns comes out and starts firing away here, gets better.
I think tonight
shots.
will be a huge game for Karl Anthony Towns. He played just okay. I mean, he had better numbers in Game 3.
Yeah.
I think tonight Karl Anthony Towns goes crazy, and I think James Harden will have one of those 40-point games tonight. Double-double, triple, on the verge of a triple-double. I think James Harden goes crazy tonight.
All right. Does he acknowledge you when you see him?
Yes.
Like what you walk by and Harden goes, what's he say?
I'll give him the fake bro hug, have a good game, and keep it moving.
That's it?
Yes.
Okay.
I do that to everyone.
Yeah, but I didn't know if, like NBA royalty, like your Hall of Famer, like he'd just say, hey, what's up, Reg, man? What's up, Reg? Man, I love,
I'm cool with everyone. I have no beef. Now, I might talk a little on the air about you, but I'm just keeping it real and keeping it honest.
All right. Well, we'll see if Reg calls out James Harden for traveling tonight. Let's see if you keep it real.
I'll do my best to appease you, and we'll talk about it next week.
No, you don't. Not for me. This is for you. This is for truth and justice in the American way.
No, look, the step back, I love.
Oh, you just said backstab.
Hop.
You just said backstab. Wow.
No, the step back.
Yeah.
I love James Harden, but it's the bunny hop after the step back.
Yeah.
Come on, man. That's a travel.
Why don't you break it down so the audience can see? And then you can kind of be circling the feet there.
I will.
All right. Reg tonight with Kevin Harlan, the award-winning Kevin Harlan. That's at 8 Eastern on TNT, the Rockets and the Timberwolves. Reg?
Theodore, you are truly the best. Love y'all, Dan.
See you, bud. That's Reggie Aloysius Miller Jr. III.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.